It's 1981 in Skidmore, Missouri, and it's exactly what you picture when you think about the Midwest. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of corn and land, and Skidmore itself only has a population of about 437 residents.
Wow, that's the size of my high school.
Really?
I think.
I took that so literally, but it's okay. Well, about 60 of those residents help cover up a murder. And by the end of this episode, you're going to, like, just have, like, the biggest mind. We are your hosts, Sherry Ferreira.
And Helen Allen.
This is The Chalk Line.
Good evening, everyone, and the highlights of the news this Thursday.
So our story starts with, or it really revolves around, Ken Rex McElroy. I'm only going to call him Ken.
Okay.
I'm never repeating
Can I
that.
just tell you what I first initially think when you said that thing about 60 people covering up a murder?
Yeah.
It sounds like if they were to do, like, an alternate ending to the Hannah Montana movie. You know, like, she tells the whole town she's Hannah Montana. They're like, you know what, we're going to keep a secret. But then that reporter guy, you know, he had it.
Comes out of the woodworks.
He was done.
Yeah.
He was not cool with it. So he did it, and then he's like, you guys, remember when you were going to keep that secret? Now you got to keep mine. I don't know about my secret.
But also a little rude for her to put that on the town.
I agree.
To, like, cover that up. It's a little...
I agree. So now I feel like the case you're going to tell me, the stakes are way higher. I just know it's going to stress me out.
So,
here we go.
Ken was born on June 1st, 1934 to a family of poor tenant farmers.
Tenant farmers?
Yeah. Didn't look much into that.
Am I too much of a city gal for that?
Yeah.
I don't...
It sounded the way it sounded, and I was like, I'll leave that there.
Yep, whatever. It's a type of farmer.
You
know it or you don't.
Yeah. Honestly, it's not. Literally, I was like, this is one of those things where it's like, it's not even worth a Google search. I'm like, either you know what the this is, or it's not going to help you at all.
That's about the one thing you don't Google.
I'm like, but it's okay.
It's okay. Let's keep going.
Ken had left school in 8th grade, actually, because, well, not because, but a lot of people believe it was because he was illiterate. Yeah.
So, like, kind of like maybe a confidence, just not doing well, so he didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then at 18, he was seriously injured when a steel slab fell on him, in the middle of this construction site.
I was going to say, where was he?
Yeah, no, not just, like, a walk in the park.
Like, just a cartoon. He's just, like, walking and a steel slab falls out of the blue onto him.
Well, I mean, that's what they make it seem like in the BuzzFeed Unsolved episode that I watched about it.
Oh.
Like, there's this huge crane that just randomly drops one of those, like, steel beams, and I'm like, okay, that's wild as but we'll keep going. We'll keep going.
Oh my gosh.
Now, after this, Ken is actually pretty injured. The extent of his injuries...
I'm sure he's injured, yeah.
Yeah. Like, he's actually pretty injured.
It's weird. He didn't just walk it off.
Yeah. I would have, no. The extent of his injuries is hard to find, but I'm sure we can all, like, picture the amount of pain he was in.
Yeah, I'm picturing, like, a full body cast. Is that...
Pretty much,
okay.
Yeah. From that, he has chronic pain that carried on with him sort of throughout his life, and notably, there was a, like, massive head injury, which a lot of people reason is why he grew up to be so bizarre and, like, a little violent.
Oh, as soon as you said head injury, I knew where this was going.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Totally
sensitive.
head injury.
Yeah. As Ken, ages, I guess he's around his 40s now, he is at 270 pounds. He's like a big, tall man. Like,
gigantic.
You're gonna see him. Yeah.
That's a gigantic person.
A gigantic person. One neighbor went as far as to say, like...
Was he tall?
Very tall.
Okay, because I'm like, how does this distribute? I want to know if he's very tall.
Like, what is it? Tall and what? Like, yeah.
Yeah, so it's both. He's, like, just bulky and tall.
Yeah, it's both.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people think he used that to his advantage to be sort of intimidating, and that was, like, the vibe he gave off.
Well, it would work on me.
Yeah. He made most of his income just by leasing land near his farm and trading and racing dogs, but, like, A more serious thing that he did was stealing livestock, grain, alcohol, and antiques. So we have some...
Okay, so he's, like, not a stand-up guy.
Not so far in life, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You could venture to say that.
Okay.
So there's, like, no surprise he was always getting in trouble with police and, like, being charged with various crimes. And they noted at least 3 times a year.
Like, as much as I visit my local doctor.
Exactly. Exactly.
He's just having run-ins with the cops the same that I'm having run-ins with Dr. Susan.
Yeah.
Not gonna say her last name because her privacy.
Right, right. And he was indicted over 21 times for crimes that he committed, but
oh my God.
Somehow he manages to escape.
So are these, like, violent crimes that he's committing?
So far, all we know now, or all I'm willing to tell you, no. They're, like, really petty.
Because I'm like, 21 times, put him away.
Yeah.
But not if they're not violent.
They're not
I mean,
violent.
That's a waste of money on our part.
Exactly. Especially in the small town of Skidmore.
Right. The
like,
tax dollars would just skyrocket based on that guy.
Please,
alone.
no. But he somehow manages to escape every time except for one of them. And we will get into that more later on.
Wait, I keep interrupting you. I'm so sorry. When you say escape, do you mean escape jail?
Escape being convicted. Like, he wasn't convicted
like
of it.
evade.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Evade would have been a much better choice of word.
Escape, I'm like, what did he use? A spoon? Digging himself out?
Prison break? Yeah, it's fine. Ken attributes him being able to do this through his lawyer, Richard McFadden, and he says that it's because he has connections with the mob, and I'm like, no, you pay him to do his job, and he got you out of jail time, you know? Like, it's fine. Don't make a big deal out of it.
Mm-hmm. The mob is really big in those corn towns, you know?
Yeah. But one of the most accurate ways of why he was able to evade conviction is because Ken would intimidate witnesses by, like, stalking them. And not like stalking them, he would stalk them.
I am horrified by him. If there was a gigantic man of his sort stalking me, I'm horrified by him.
I mean, almost 300 pounds. I'd be like, what is that tree doing?
I would genuinely be like, I surrender. Whatever it is you need, just do it. You are scaring me too much. It is not worth it.
And that's what all the witnesses thought. That's why they withdrew their testimonies, and he was able to just walk free.
Ugh.
And so far, everything I've talked about, it just seems really minor, a couple hiccups here and there, but, you know, it's...
Right.
It's really a jump from how people in the town of Skidmore talk about him, and I'm going to close that gap just a little bit more. Just a little.
Okay, so when it came to making a podcast, we knew what we wanted to do, but we just didn't really know how to execute it. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from this podcast too, like with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Okay. So at this point, they're talking about him based on the fact that, like, okay, he's this, like, high school dropout who got seriously injured and then turned to crime. Yeah, turned to crime, illiterate, family's poor. Yeah. But it does come out that Ken has committed some more serious crimes, including robbery, harassing and assaulting women, destroying property, sending out death threats, and shooting at least 2 people. Okay. Yeah. Wow. So the picture is definitely getting darker. Right. We're dipping into, like, blacks and, like, dark reds. Yes. And you get, like, this feel of this guy who's just, like, garbage. Yeah. I mean, so when we say harassing and assaulting women, we mean, like, further than the stalking? Yes. Oh, man. Yeah. All right, keep going. One of his victims was Romaine Henry, who was a local farmer. And I'm like, Romaine? Like lettuce? That's adorable. So cute. Isn't that so cute? Oh my gosh. Okay. We love him. We won't get into it. But Ken shot Romaine in the stomach because Romaine was chasing him off of his own property. Oh my god. That is horrifying.
And I'm like, are you... Oh, what?
So, how did they find this? Like, how did they find that... Was he, like, turned in immediately for that? Like, how did it play out?
Turned in immediately, but he was let go.
For shooting a man?
Yeah.
On his own property?
Yes.
Has anyone ever heard of the castle doctrine?
No.
I guess not.
No. Ken also went on to commit very serious and violent crimes against little girls as young as 12, and he also used this as a way to prevent them from testifying against him. One of the girls that he did assault and stalk, her name was Trina McLeod, and she was 24 years old at the time. She was reportedly his third wife, but it's not really 100% because he was said to have also married a lot of other girls. He was just this, like, piece of He grew up to be a bad person, a domestic abuser. I mean, he was being apprehended time and time again for these more serious crimes as he aged, but his lawyer just kept getting him release, and it was just such a letdown to the people in the town.
I can imagine. I mean,
like, even the county police feared him because he was, like, known to not be afraid to shoot cops, and it's like, we need to put something in there. We need to fix that.
sometimes I wonder, like, because, I mean, I know that obviously the people in the town of Skidmore, like, their police system, I'm sure they're trained well and what have you, but sometimes I think, like, maybe they should have reached out to another county, maybe, like, someone with bigger manpower. Like, a
lot of people in Skidmore really felt abandoned by the justice system because they couldn't stop Ken from terrorizing the entire town. But there is one pivotal incident that sort of brings this whole story to a close. On April 25th, 1980, Ernest Bo Bowenkamp owned this general store. Good old Bo, right?
Yeah.
And one day, Ken's 8-year-old kid, Tanya, he had a kid, was asked by the
Hold
store...
on. We cannot just graze over that. He had a kid?
You wanna know?
Okay, a daughter, yeah. Tanya?
He had a string of different, quote, marriages, some of them to very young girls, so it's not like you could call that a marriage.
Right.
Some to older girls who are 24, like Tina.
Mm-hmm.
Or Trina, I believe.
Trina.
And so it's hard to say exactly who Tanya belonged to and who her mother was, but he did have a kid at some point.
Okay, and he's, like, present with this kid?
It's not, I don't know if he's involved.
I'm just so curious. Like, I don't know how, it always wows me when monsters have kids, you know?
Because you're like, why? What business do you have?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's so scary.
So, his 8-year-old kid Tanya was asked by the store clerk to return a piece of candy that she didn't pay for. Reasonable.
Right.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
So, Ken felt this was enough to stalk the entire Bowenkamp family, the owner of the store.
Ken, that's not what we need you as a father to do.
No, not at all.
Ken, I remember this one time when I was a kid, my mom and I were at Target, and I was, like, so young, I didn't even know what I was doing. Yeah. But there, you know, like, how they, like, sometimes put, like, things in birthday cards?
Yeah.
There was, like, a birthday card that had, like, a thing of stickers in it, and I didn't realize that it was, like, part of the birthday card to be sold. I thought someone, like, left stickers in it.
Right, because you're little.
And so I took the stickers out, and I, like, brought... This is so stupid. I brought them with me out to the parking lot. My mom didn't notice, and I go, Mom, look at the stickers I got, and she blew her top.
Rightfully so.
She literally was like, that's stealing! And she made me bring it back into Target and apologize. And, like, that is what you do when your kid is walking out of the store stealing.
Exactly.
That's how you handle it.
I love that.
I mean, I didn't know I was stealing at the time. I literally was like, Mom, look at my cool find. And she was like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Like, you found a nickel on the floor.
I was like, finders keepers. Someone left their stickers behind. But my mom was like, no!
No, but that's 100% what you should do in situations like this.
Oh my god.
Fast forward to July 8th, and Ken is driving in the alley behind the store. Mm-hmm. He snuck his, like, huge way inside. Like, I can't even imagine the way this guy sneaks around.
How does this guy sneak?
He doesn't.
Can't imagine a 270 tall man being under the radar.
Neither could I.
But
he goes in there to threaten Bo, and he proceeds to shoot the grocer who was in the store at the time.
Oh, no.
And this is also the purported, quote, second person Ken killed, because as we know, Romaine did pass away from that injury. Mm-hmm. But actually, he was... Okay, so the amazing part about it is that the grocer was shot at point blank range, and he survived.
A miracle.
I know. I was like...
Okay, cool.
What?
Oh my gosh. I'm so grateful right now. Finally some light in this story.
Insane. Ken was then arrested and charged with his court date set for August 18th, but he did his same intimidation tactics and it fell through the works.
Oh my god.
Beau's wife recalls Ken driving up to their house in the middle of the night, during this whole process, just to sit outside and watch them. Even more sickening, he would just fire his gun off at random to with them.
That is literally horrifying.
Torment.
Actually, that is so crazy. I cannot wrap my head around that. Could you imagine being scared and cowering in the house because this very, very scary man is outside staring your home down, your husband, your wife, your kids, whatever, and then hearing a gunshot and not knowing was someone shot or was that another random one?
Trauma. That's the only thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, I cannot even wrap my head around that.
His trial does get it does get delayed for another 5 months. So that's in June. June of the following year.
Okay.
There are some other very interesting developments in his trial. So the prosecuting attorney, thank you, resigned. The experienced prosecutor, he resigned and was replaced with a newer, younger prosecutor.
Ugh, what's this gonna be like?
And so it's rumored that Ken bullied the more experienced prosecutor to leave so that this new, fresh guy would, mess up during his trial.
Does Ken have money or something?
No, that's the thing.
He's just, a big, scary man? I don't understand.
Yes. That's another thing that I find so interesting about this case.
What is he holding over people except for his physical being? But, couldn't they band together and just,
I know, right? And unfortunately, Ken was out free because the judge removed the $40,000 bond that they had on him.
What did he do to the judge to make the judge do that?
I don't know.
The literal whole point of bail is, keep them away if they seem dangerous or if they seem like a flight risk. And it's this whole town is afraid of this man because he's dangerous and we're going to take away his bail.
He seemed like the perfect candidate for someone to have
millions of dollars in bail, I would think. Oh, my God.
He does release, a statement or comments on, the impending trial, saying that he's been fighting the law since he was 13. And I'm so that definitely lets me know that throughout his life, he was just committing these petty acts and escalated somewhere along the line.
And you have to give it to him that, I'm sure if he dropped out of school in 8th grade and he was illiterate as an 8th grader, I'm sure he didn't have it easy, but so many people don't. And then they don't turn to this.
Exactly. So it's I
feel bad for the cards he was dealt, but not what he did with them.
Exactly.
So that's what it is.
Perfect way to put it. He then brags during this same, statement that he's been arrested for over 53 felonies, and this was the one that he's ever, been caught for.
Okay. Do you want a sticker? I don't know what to tell you.
Very frustrating.
It's not that he wasn't caught. It's just that he tormented people out of catching him. I don't know why he's bragging about that, but... Man, oh man.
This is all happening around June of 1981. Mm-hmm. So we're going ahead to July, so just a month later. Ken is seen at this local bar, D&G Tavern. And he's going into detail about he was going to kill Beau, the owner of the general store. Just to, anyone who would listen.
No, I don't like it.
Neither do I. Which got him arrested.
Okay.
Now, he is released, so that was short-lived in this 2 seconds.
This is a lot of up and down with my feelings. I don't know if I like this case, I have to be honest.
Okay. It is very frustrating to say the least, but he was armed, which meant that he was violating his bail provision.
Oh, hell yeah. And also, I'm
Exactly.
sure it's not great to, like, talk about your next murder victim
Yeah.
when you're on bail.
Right.
People were probably like, red flag.
Yeah.
Hello.
Someone...
There's a crazy big giant man in the bar talking about how he's going to kill someone. And is that an ankle bracelet? Can someone please get him out of here?
No,
God.
literally. So
I can't.
they have to set a whole other trial to deal with that mess. Now, we come to the morning of July 10th.
Okay.
So at this point, the conclusion that you and I have come to, the conclusion that the town of Skidmore has come to, is that Ken is a dangerous individual.
Right. Yeah.
So they have a meeting at the town's Legion Hall, which is just down the street from that same bar, D&G Tavern.
Okay.
Over 60 residents show up, the mayor, the sheriff, and they're all basically brainstorming what they could do legally to stop Ken from harming any more people.
This is a lot of manpower, 60.
Yeah.
That's like a pretty good fraction of the town.
Oh, that's literally a good chunk of the town.
Yeah.
The county sheriff, Dan Estes, suggests they form like a neighborhood watch, and I'm like, I don't know. That's
What are they gonna do?
Yeah, I don't.
Everyone's afraid of him.
Yeah, I'd be like, I saw him at 10 o'clock.
I saw it.
Hang up.
I didn't do anything, though.
Yeah.
We just saw it.
It'd be the same thing.
Everybody saw it.
Right. One of the attendees was quoted by saying how they felt the system had failed the town and that everyone knew what Ken was like. And their quote, this is like them now speaking, and there he was again and again. It seemed like nobody could stop him. So it's like at the tipping point here.
This is almost like what, like, it like reminds me of just like the bystander effect. That like if no one's gonna do anything, you're also not going to.
Exactly.
As soon as they rally like 60 residents, then they're like, oh yeah, now we'll do something about it. And it's like, well guys, where were you before? And like, I'm sorry that you're afraid, but sometimes someone has to step up. I usually don't try to take a hard stance on law enforcement because I find myself time and time again disappointed by them, but I also don't know everything that goes into these cases.
Of course.
But this is an extremely pathetic and disappointing display of law enforcement because you don't get to be afraid. That's part of your oath as a police officer is I'm putting my life on the line and I'm protecting people. And just to be like, yeah, well, I don't know, he's a little too scary, so not my problem. You don't get to choose that.
I know. It's like
police
like,
don't
pick
I'm sorry,
up on
but
that.
like a judge acts by discretion. Like she does not have to go and be like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to do, so I'm doing it. She could be like, this is what I think is going to benefit the town best. And like dropping his bail, who does that benefit?
Exactly. Now, at some point during this meeting, someone catches word of Ken and his supposed third, quote, wife, Trina, going out to get a drink at the D&G Tavern.
So is Trina just, like, standing by him?
Yeah.
Is she, like, scared of him, too? Is that why?
She and some of his other wives do come forward and claim that he is a nice person, but a lot of people think that's just an effect of being abused by their abuser, which is not uncommon. I do not
think that is... Because, like, they live with the terrorizer, you know? Like, of course they're gonna say what they think will save their lives.
Yeah. So it's not uncommon, and a lot of them do say that he had redeeming qualities and whatnot, but...
I mean, everyone has redeeming qualities, but are we going to focus on those when he's a murderer?
No, not at all. No. After catching word of him just being, like, a few feet away, all 60 of them walk over and, like, surround his pickup truck.
Oh, hell yeah. Finally, we're getting
somewhere.
Oh, my God. Let's rally, boys.
Look in your eyes right now. Some of them even went back inside of the bar to wait for him to finish his drink, like eyeing him down.
I'd order like a scotch just to like intimidate him. Sit there sipping it. I hate it the whole time, but I'm like trying to be cool. I'm like, just finish your drink, honey. We'll go outside.
You're like, I think you'd freak him out. I think you would.
I don't know. Ken might be pretty freaked out by me.
Right.
I'm scrappy. So. the least intimidating person ever.
Right, but
It's
I'm
like,
scrappy.
who is that girl choking on scotch at the other side of the bar? She needs help.
She's from the next town over. She's supposed to help us.
So stupid.
No, it's okay. Eventually, Ken does finish his drink, and him and Trina go back out to
Still
the
having
car.
his drink, I can't. The drink that lasts 3 years. Alright, continue. I don't know why I said that.
No, it's okay. He finishes his drink.
Right.
And Trina sits in the passenger seat while Ken's in the driver's side. Mm-hmm. And if you could just, like, picture a mob standing behind, like, a pickup truck. So there's that big open window to where you can see the back of their heads almost.
Okay.
Well, while Ken is starting to light a cigarette, someone from the crowd picks up a rifle and starts shooting at the back of his head. Now, Trina dives out of the car and lands on the street. Eventually, she does, like, walk her way over to a bank to get help. But the windows are completely shattered, and Ken only ends up having 2 bullets enter his system, and they're from different guns. Which is, like, very
2
creepy.
separate people, obviously.
Exactly.
Not just one man with 2 guns. Well, so this is the murder you're saying that the town covered up?
Yes.
Sherry, my girl. Don't get them to speak. Keep it under wraps.
It's so...
The justice system failed all these people. You know what? They are the justice system now.
And I mean, not one person called an ambulance, Helen.
Girl, I'm telling you, the bystander effect. They were like, he was shitty though, right? We all agree? All right. I'm gonna go home. I'm a little hungry. It's time for dinner.
The investigation is just a mess. I mean, 60 people are not talking. Trina does come forward to try to help a little bit, but someone who does end up giving them a little insight into how the mentality was, I guess, was Cheryl Houston, and she was the daughter of Bo Bowenkamp. Mm-hmm. She said, quote, "Once the shroud of silence fell, there was going to be no one talking. They could have pushed and dug, and gotten nothing. We were so bitter and so angry at the law letting us down that it came to somebody taking matters in their own hand. No one has any idea what a nightmare we lived."
I mean, can you blame her for feeling that way?
I don't at all.
Sometimes I'm just like, we have bigger fish to fry. Are we mad about this? Not really. All of the people in the justice system that led up to this moment should be also under fire. I mean, not just the people who covered this up,
agreed,
you know?
Agreed, because it's like, it is a small town and people talk. You
and
know?
this is trauma. All of these women that were scared to go out in the streets, all of these victims.
I mean, I didn't even get into the extent of how much he terrorized just young girls in general. Like, he was like a pedophile and like just a piece of...
For the record, though, I do have faith in the justice system, just not that one.
Yeah,
not theirs.
No.
It's like it's not even in America, right? Like,
Isn't it wild?
It doesn't seem like it's in the United States.
This seems like a story.
Which, and that is like a very privileged thing for me to say, to have faith in the justice system. I have faith in the idea of our justice system.
Yeah.
I know it always falls short. However, this kind of thing, I'm like, yeah, give these people a slap on the wrist because of course not okay. But like, we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. Now, police only ever had one notable suspect that Trina helped identify, which was Del Clement, and he was a part owner of the D&G Tavern.
He was like, that's the last time you drink in my bar.
Oh my god, no. The episode describes him as like... So this man does come out, and he is an author. He does a whole story on this, researches, da-da-da-da. And he actually meets with Del Clement before he passes and says that he wore this, like, cowboy hat and like had a drink and was like had that whole demeanor.
I know exactly who Del Clement is.
You do, and so that's what made everyone think he must have done this. He had
Del
the like
Clement
gusto.
takes no.
Exactly.
I love him.
Yeah, exactly.
You want Del Clement on your side. You don't want Ken on your side.
But he was never arrested.
Well, and for good reason.
Right.
Because also Ken was never arrested. So how the people who finally got their justice in, you know, not a legal way, but they did. Like, now the town feels safer. And if they got arrested and charged, but Ken never did, how...
It'd be messed up. I mean, no one was ever indicted, but the author of, I'll link the book down below because I didn't write it down, but he goes into depth over this case, and he said he believes that a few people decided to, like, take the matters into their own hands, and then after they did it, everyone just sort of quietly stood with them and, like, all came to the consensus not to speak. Whereas people on the other hand believe that that town meeting that they had was to plan this freaking murder. Which, I mean, I can easily see both sides, but I can easily see just a couple people doing it, everyone being like, well, that solves that, rather than a whole town coming to plan it. I think that's a little too much.
I think it would just have been too much, like anticipation and, like, craze if they had planned it ahead of time and then the whole crowd went there. I think they just were a bunch of people that were really pissed off. They went and surrounded the guy, and then emotions got the better of some of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm joking around about, like, the way that things went down. I truly don't think that the people who ended up killing Ken, I don't think they're bad people. I think our prison system is for people that were worried about being on the streets. I don't think I'm worried about those people being on the streets. I was worried about Ken.
Yeah.
But of course, like, yeah, it's never okay to murder someone no matter what. But I do think that it's so tough because Ken was never being charged. So how do you charge the person that killed him?
Mm. And how do you have faith in the people whose job it is to do that?
Right. And, like, these people have children, like, little girls who Ken was tormenting. Like, then other people don't want that to be their daughter. And I think if it's sad to say, but I think if it hadn't happened, then it would have continued. Right. He would be a name that people have heard of.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I've never heard of this man before. And maybe that's, like, on me. Maybe other people have. But
no, I didn't before
But
this.
I think that if he wasn't killed, he would have been a bigger person that everyone would be having on their radar, because he scared a whole town out of giving him the justice that, you know, bringing him to justice. And I know that town of 400 who specializes in corn, they just don't have the money. Just
at all. I mean, Trina did try to test how much money they had because she filed a $6 million wrongful death suit against the town, the county, the sheriff, the mayor, and Del Clement.
Not my Del Clement.
Your Del Clement. She's coming for you.
So here's the thing. I do get why Trina's mad. Trina was in the car. Her life was at risk. I totally understand why Trina is mad.
Yeah.
However, I hope that Trina got therapy and the resources were there for her to get through all of that, because she is siding with the wrong man.
Yeah.
And it's hard to hand over $6 million to someone who protected an abuser, even if she was the one being abused too.
I know. It's a hard situation. I mean, she ends up settling for around $17,000 and leaving town. She does remarry. But I mean, I hope, you know.
Yeah, I hope
that she got what she got out of that.
Yeah, I hope she found better. I hope that $17,000 helped her, like, establish a better lifestyle and helped her make better choices for herself, because it's very hard to get out of the situation that she was in.
Yeah, I mean, the county sheriff in 2006 reported that apparently everyone knows, like, who done it, but no one wants to be involved.
I just think, like, all of these people are people you want to be friends with, you know what I mean? Because, like, if not for anything else, they will keep your secret and they will take it to the grave.
I mean, they are the citizens in that town.
They are the Hannah Montana town. Wait, where was this again? I swear it was in Tennessee.
It was in
Where's Blue Jeans the horse? Thanks for listening. You can catch us on Instagram at The Chalkline Pod,
Twitter at The Chalkline Pod,
and follow along with our YouTube channel. The link is in our Instagram bio.
Tune in next Thursday for another story.